Hey there, welcome to Synth Seeker. My name is Luke. This video is about buying musical tools without being the victim of regret, either right away or after several months or even years later. Take this quiz before pulling the trigger on your shopping cart. If you get more than one answer wrong here, pause in your purchase process and go produce and release some music with the tools you already have. Then, feel free to come back and take this quiz as needed, right? As many times as you want to ensure that you never regret a gear purchase, right? The idea is that in order to purchase a piece of gear, you have to get these 5 questions right. Let's get started. Question 1. Does your project require the exact sound made by the tool being purchased? And will people hear it in the final production? Right? There's a big difference between a sound placed in the mix and a sound you hear while listening to a manufacturer's demo video or to a solo track, right? So make sure that instrument from that boutique manufacturer that sounds uniquely awesome in the isolated demo, will it matter once it's layered with everything else in your production? If this is true, continue on to the next question. So, does your project require the exact sound made by this tool being purchased? And will people be able to tell that it's there in the final mix? If you can say yes to that, go on to question 2. Question 2. Is it impractical or impossible to make that sound with tools you already have? Right? There are very few new sound ideas in music technology. Almost everything is a blending of existing tools or a reimagining of how to apply and combine existing ideas in ways that are innovative, granted, but more often it's just more easy and convenient, right? The new tools that we sort of hype over, that's from a market that's always trying to sell you this sort of click here to win button, right? And for a lot of people, paying for that convenience is a valid motivation, right? Sure. But it's not a necessary one. If you take the time to deconstruct the sound that your proposed new tool is going to make, right? And you're going to find that you can probably get an in-the-mix approximation of that satisfies your need using tools you've already got. Just deconstruct it. Say, what are the steps? It's like this cool new space delay. Well, you've got delays, you've got reverbs, right? How are they doing it? What are they doing? Take it apart and you might be able to recreate it. If you can say that it's impractical or impossible for me to get that sound I want with the tools I already have, then yes, if you can say yes to that, go on to the next question. Question 3. Do you actually know how to use your existing tools with 100% certainty that you've covered all of their functionality, right? Music gear is often complex. We buy something because we want the specific sort of facet of what it does, what it gets us. And often we will ignore the fact that, it provides a broader range of sounds if you take the time to learn how to use it. There's a personal sense of satisfaction around being an expert on a given tool, right? And the benefits you gain in production speed and efficiency are significant if you pay your dues, read that manual, practice, and work with that tool and learn all of its ins and outs. So, do you actually know how to use your existing tools with 100% certainty? If you could say yes to that, then go on to the next question. Question 4. Can you afford to own, not buy, but own that tool? Buying things is easy. People want you to buy things and they're willing to jump through hoops to facilitate you buying stuff, financing, credit cards, etc., right? But owning a tool is where the real regret kicks in, the cost of ownership. Music tools have costs other than the money you spend during the purchase. Costs like the space they take up. And then you have to deal with, how do I manage that space, either physically or digitally, right? Are they subject to wear and tear? Is the build quality low? Is the tool fragile? Is it easy to break? And what's your playing behavior? What's your model of use? Are you hard on your tools? Will you need to replace it after some amount of time? Do you move your tools around? Do you take them from place to place? Do you play out, right? Or do you travel? Do you have pets or kids or roommates who spill beer and you need to buy additional protection? Are you a drummer or a tortured soul? Do you strike your gear with your fists when you're playing it? Or do you strike it with your heart, right, when performing? Are you hard on your stuff? So, if you can answer yes to can you afford to own, not buy, that tool, then continue on to our fifth and final question. Question 5. Finally, does the tool actually make your music better? Or do you just need to practice your craft a bit more? In creating music, like all the arts, everyone has some beautiful piece inside them, just waiting to get out. But they're covered up and hidden by dozens or even hundreds of mediocre bits of other art. Stories and songs and paintings are like a shell wrapping this truly amazing creation inside you. The only way to get to the good stuff is to chip away the mediocre crap by practicing and by performing and by producing and releasing the stuff that, granted, is maybe not to the level you want it to be at first. But every time you do that, you reveal and clear your path to getting to the really amazing good stuff inside you. So, the final question, does the tool you're about to purchase actually make your music better, or do you just need to practice your craft a bit? If you can say yes to that, and the other questions previously asked, go ahead and make that purchase. So that's it. Use the quiz to combat your gear acquisition syndrome, your buyer's remorse or regret, and make sure that your kids can, in fact, go to college if they want to go, and the time comes. So, thank you for your time, and as always, you have been watching Synth Seeker. Have a great day.